Dear Diary, yesterday was our 10-year anniversary. 10 years, can you believe it? When every day feels like coming home, why would we go anywhere else? In this crazy, chaotic world that doesn't always feel so sane. At least there's one person who never fails to understand me. Who never fails to offer a safe space for me to be my quirky self. I wonder what the next 10 years has in store for us. Hi beautiful souls, it's Tan here today with another video in our Moon in Houses Overlay in the Synastry chart series. So I have made a video explaining what a synastry chart is, as well as another video walking you through how to get a synastry chart done with you and a particular love interest. So I'll post a link to those two videos up there in the description box below, so you can watch that one and then come back and watch this one if you're not familiar with synastry. So when it comes to synastry, the moon really represents an area of life of the house person that the moon would like to nurture at their core into fruition. As well as this is a place where the two people are meeting up to act out their more intuitive nature, as well as some of their irrational behaviors, their fears, their insecurities, and also their security needs. The intuitive nature of the house person's house will kind of get provoked by the moon person's moon being there. So it's a more unconscious relating between the two people. So this is more of like a place where the two people are meeting up and interacting with each other with their heart rather than with the mind or with the intellect. So this is kind of like, you know, you go shopping and you would like to buy a bag and you see this one bag and it's really beautiful, but it's so expensive, but you're willing to pay for it anyways because it has been handmade by a local craftsman who has designed it themselves, and they've put time and effort into making this unique crafted handbag. Even though you can see the imperfections there, you're still willing to invest. So this is where your more irrational imperfections are going to meet up in someone else's particular area of life. This is a place where the two people are going to feel more emotionally moved, whether that's going to be the positive kind or the negative kind of move. So the little diary entry earlier was written from the perspective of the house person and how they feel when someone's moon falls into that house. And so the 7th house represents a lot of things. It represents our one-to-one relationships with other people, partnerships, marriage, as well as our shadow side. So when someone's moon falls into this house, it makes the house person feel like, oh, there is a part of me, my emotional nature, that's missing because it's my shadow, and I can finally, and someone's coming in and they're finally reflecting this part of my emotional nature back to me. Because the shadow is really a part of us that we would like to express when we were, younger, but because of the way that we grew up, our environment, maybe our family, they told us that it was not okay, it was not acceptable, so we kind of just stuffed that into our unconscious and it becomes our shadow. So the moon person is nurturing this part of the house person, and the house person can feel like there is a complement to an emotional spectrum of theirs, that there's a part of that spectrum that's missing, and the moon person kind of fills that void, fills that empty emotional spectrum spot. If the sun falls in someone's 7th house, then it can be more of a complement to a missing area of self-expression, of your identity, of your area of confidence. If it's the moon, it's the complement to someone's missing emotional spectrum area. Missing voided feelings, shall we say. whichever house the moon falls into, the moon kind of takes on the characteristics of the sign that rules that house. And because Libra rules the 7th house, the moon kind of takes on a more Libra moon type. So there's a lot of cooperation that goes on between these two people when they interact. The house person can feel a little bit more balanced in the presence of the moon, and there's going to be less subjectivity in the relating. Where there does not need to be subjectivity, there can be more objectivity, a more cooperative, harmonious approach to the relationship itself, the partnership itself. And I actually have this with a friend of mine. Her moon falls into my 7th house, and we've been friends for over 20 years, 23 years to be exact. And I've always been mystified as how we always manage to keep in touch with each other. But I think it brings in this piece of relating, where it's kind of like, okay, we may not always hang out every day, or we may not always, talk every day and be together, but if you need me in crisis, I'll be there. If you're going through a hard time, I'll be there. Because, like I said, this is where the two people are relating to each other from their heart. So the 7th house is the house of relationships. So this is a relationship built on the heart. So there's going to be a certain amount of loyalty involved, as well as faithfulness. But the faithfulness part could depend on other things that's going on within the synastry and individual natal charts. But loyalty definitely, because it's our heart. At the core of who we are, we don't want to hurt the other person. We have a certain amount of integrity and willing to cooperatively take on some responsibilities of this partnership. It's the partnership built on the heart. And when that happens, you don't want to really stray away and be disloyal to the person, right? There's a great camaraderie type of energy, and this pairing up is kind of really good for all types of relationships, not just romantic, but any type of relationship. Even if the moon person has a more upbeat and impatient type of a moon, this pairing up can really tone down that expression. It has a more low-key type of emotional expression involved here. The emotional expression can be more low-key. The other way that this could go is because the 7th house is sort of a public house, it's a social house. It's the first house that's actually at the upper half of the natal chart. So the moon person can have this helpful, supportive quality in promoting the house person, in expanding their social circles, enhancing their reputation and getting them to know more people and getting more people to know them. The 7th house also rules negotiations and contracts, so there is peace and harmony within any type of negotiation that these two people engage in. There's a sense that we are going to be relating to each other with equality, keeping in mind the more sensitive needs of each other. So the ultimate theme and the goal of this house, of this moon in the 7th house overlay, is for the house person to understand what it means to be more cooperative with others and how to exercise their sensitivities when cooperating with other people, as well as respect for others' feelings. So that is my take on moon in the 7th house overlay. If you have this with a particular love interest or anyone in your life, then do comment below and let us know what your experiences have been. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if you haven't. If you already subscribed, then thank you very much for coming along. I do birth chart readings, synastry, relationship readings. All the information is on my website. You can check that out. And I'll see you very soon, beautiful souls, in the next video, which is going to be Moon in Partners 12th house. So, see you then. Bye!